On the programme by Stephen Silverman from the Campaign Against Antisemitism. Stephen, a picture on the front page of many papers this morning featuring Elon Musk outside Auschwitz, the concentration camp where over 1 million Jews were exterminated, with his 3-year-old son on his shoulders. I think many people thinking, who would take a 3-year-old on an outing to a concentration camp? You're not going to the zoo, you're not going to the circus, you're not going to a soft play, you're going to see the site of this appalling example of man's inhumanity to man, genocide. Why would you take a child to see that? It's such a strange picture. And what do you make of that? And what do you make of what Elon Musk has said since the experience?
Good afternoon, Vanessa. Thank you for inviting me on. Well, look, I mean, I certainly didn't start to educate my children about the Holocaust at that age, but look, that's a decision for him. I think, let's give credit where it's due. It's a positive that Musk has visited Auschwitz. It's a positive that he acknowledges that he has recognized how serious anti-Semitism is in general since 7th of October. And it's also a positive that he's disavowed his own endorsement of an anti-Semitic tweet, saying that it was the worst and dumbest post he'd ever made. So, that's a tick in the box. But he now needs to put his money where his mouth is, because the fact is his platform is awash with anti-Semitism. You do not have to look very hard to find it. It's there from the far right, it's there from the radical left, and it's there from Islamist extremists. It appears to be increasing, and it is not a pleasant place for Jewish users. And I would suggest it's not a pleasant place for any decent-minded individual who abhors that kind of racism.
And he's said, though, hasn't he, apart from saying, I apologise for the tweet, I realise that I have underestimated the virulence and the widespread nature of anti-Semitism, which if anybody watching doesn't understand what it means, it simply means racism against Jewish people. All it means is racism. There's no special thing about anti-Semitism, just who it's targeted at, that's all. But having said both those things, he also says something like, well, it's impossible and going to be impossible to eradicate anti-Semitism on any social media platform, doesn't he?
Well, it depends on whether or not the will is there. And now, admittedly, he's probably looking at it from an American perspective, and there are First Amendment issues as far as that's concerned. But even the First Amendment doesn't allow incitement and outright hate speech. And you've only got to look today at the responses to posts about the massacre on the 7th of October, about the hostages, even posts about upcoming Holocaust Memorial Day. The comments on the original posts, many of them are just horrendous. Now, you can't stop what is in people's heads, but you can stop them airing it publicly. And that is what is not happening currently on Twitter or X.